Good morning, crypto Twitter, it's Misty Crypto, spreading crypto adoption, showing its benefits to my generation. Shout out to all my people, Gen Z needs to be included, it's really that simple. We are savage and baseball zesty, making money at the same time, spread peace. I feel empty if you don't include Gen Z, better change the world, so y'all better get ready. Misty Crypto, I'm never backing down, I got a wax account, you should say it out. So many NFTs, I think I lost count, and I'm only getting started, yeah, I'm barely off the ground. Misty Crypto, you cannot stop me, my hands are made from diamond, your hands fall like origami. Never be the boss of me, Bitcoin's all I need, when I say I'm zesty, that's just me, talking all this crypto, and yum bar marketplace, I wanna see the more, we gotta go through cyberspace, leave this world without a trace, save faith for a different day, cause we partners in the cryptos didn't stay.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Miss Teen Crypto Show. I hope everybody's having a lovely Thursday. And this is the third stream this week. So thank you to everybody in the chat who's been with me for the third time this week. Absolutely awesome. Great guests. And if you're new to the channel, what's up? My name is Randy. So nice to meet you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the stream out with friends. Everybody do that because we need to share these good vibes. We need to share the zest. Again, thank you to everybody in the chat. It's really nice to see you all. Before we jump in, I just want to say thank you to a sponsor, Wax Blockchain, killing the game as usual. Watch out for blockchain brawlers and what they have coming up. I want to waste no time. I want to talk to our zesty guest today, Michael, the co-founder of DCentral Con. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on. Excited to be on here.
Of course. I love your background, by the way. Super lit, very crypto-esque. I really wanted to learn about you and, of course, Decentral. We'll jump into that in a little bit. But, Michael, how did you, start off your life? Let's go to, college, Michael. What were you up to?
Yeah, so a little bit after, kind of before, I'll start probably around 13-ish. I started going on, basically I got my first computer, and for me, it was I wanted to learn more about it. So what I did was kind of took it apart. My mom was pretty pissed because she was like, why are you doing this? You're breaking what I bought you, right? And I was finding ways to kind of put it back together. And it took me almost a week to finally be oh, I was just missing one of these wires. And it was just left to the side. But afterwards, I wanted to learn more and more and more. And so what I did was throughout my early days was basically I did play a lot of games, and within each game I wanted to learn the fundamentals of how each game played so that I could know the rules. So after a while I actually started hacking in games and started basically creating a virtual economy that's in the games in the beginning portion. So Ooh. It's before crypto was there, I still already was working with digital assets, and at one point I was a market maker for one of the games and just basically controlling their free market.
That's hilarious.
And this is before crypto. So it was really hard because it was a really small community of hey, how do I convert this to cash? Or how do I, use this for utility? Fast forward to kind of after high school, I decided to say, hey, look, I want to do something bigger. And I didn't know what to do. So I decided to join the US military. I went to the Marines, and out of that, I learned so much. It was basically learning how you can push yourself, especially mentally, physically, and kind of being able to understand a lot of different things, whether it's being very observative, whether it's kind of learning yourself after a while.
Oh, for sure.
And then from there, kind of got distracted with life for a little bit. But in 2017, switched over to crypto. I got orange pilled by one of my friends to kind of learn more about crypto. I was how do I get in? So it was more of the investment side. I was cool. I got my bonus at my workplace. I placed it into Bitcoin. It's when it was $2,000 or so.
Whoa, super early.
Yeah, I messed up though, because right when it was it went up 20%, I was I'm making money, yay, cool. And I cashed out. So I was wait, now the market's going up and down. How do I learn more about the market? So after a while, I was you know what? Fuck this, I'm gonna jump full force into learning more about crypto. So kind of went full time in 2017.
Wow, that's pretty wild. So my question is, did you get that computer back together that your mom bought you?
Yeah,
You figured
after a
it
while,
out?
she was pretty mad, and I was like, all right, I got it fixed up and everything. And that's
Wow.
when it kind of like the whole internet journey kind of started.
And when you were looking at games and in games economies, did you ever like feel the, progression of gaming going this way? Because now we have GameFi and it's just like a completely elevated version of like gaming in general. Did you ever feel like it would go this route? Because you were kind of trying to trade in your own markets then.
Yeah, I think it is going that route, especially for blockchain gaming. It's
Oh
still
yeah.
very early. It's probably going to take another 2 years to kind of really kick off GameFi, kind of like the GameFi ecosystem, just because of like the early mechanics of a lot of games. So it's kind of like if you look at like regular game industry, it's more of like you create a prototype, you have a beta, some people come and play it, and then after a while, you kind of upgrade it and vamp it to make it to where you tweak some of the things to where, hey, look, this is too overpowered. Hey, this is too underutilized. There's always going to be constant updates and constant improvements. And I think that earlier in the day, a lot of the gamers didn't even understand what was going on because like for them, it's like, hey, I'm in a game, I have money in the game, and I get to use it for items and everything. But they didn't tie it to the real world side to where, hey, look, I can talk to a friend and say, I'll sell you this item for $15, or I'll be able to kind of trade this with you for some other items. I guess another super early story was like I was trading Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and selling them in elementary school.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I remember like being able to trade up to a Charizard. I had like 7 or 8 Charizards that were first editions.
Wow.
Only if I kept them. But at the time it was basically just trading it, and it was kind of like the first NFT. Like for me, like first experience as an NFT is like having a common good that can be used for transactional value.
Wow, that's sick. I mean, man, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon cards were like absolutely everything. Even when I was in school, it was hilarious. Everyone was trading them, and then kids would get like mad over like who took whose card and blah. Like it was just like great. Like I absolutely love that. And now Pokemons are worth God knows how much. And it just really shows you how far collectibles can go, which makes you even more bullish, I guess I could say, on the NFT space. Like, where's all this going to go? It's absolutely insane. And then you said that you went from just like being like knee deep in your computer and gaming and the internet to going into the Marines, right? How did that even how was that even an idea for you? And why did you try to pursue this?
I wanted to challenge myself to really see how I can push myself mentally and physically.
Wow.
So for that portion, basically, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, hey, look, I'm fresh out of high school. What do I do next? I'm at home. I'm like, cool. Now I have all this free time. It's like, this is before I was thinking of like, hey, maybe I should get a job, or I was trying to look for jobs and everything. But for me, I was like, I wanted to find something of bigger value and bigger purpose. So after looking around for a while, I was like, you know what? Why don't I just kind of like in order for me to, instead of wasting time, try to do something productive with it and push myself. So I wanted to educate myself, learn a little bit more about the military, went down to like the local offices to kind of talk to them about it. They were like, hey, if you're in it for the money, you're in it for the wrong reasons. If you're in it for the purpose of joining the military, then yes, that's something that's going to be beneficial for you.
Yeah.
And I wanted it for the purpose of it. I wanted to find a bigger purpose than, just Michael at home, 18 years old, not knowing what to do.
Wow.
They told me the benefits, they told me the perks, and I was like, cool. I don't care about that portion. I just want to learn, more of like building myself as a character.
That's quite insane. Like a lot of people wouldn't even like go that route and push themselves, because I've spoken to people that have gone through military training, and it's scarring just the training, never mind, actually being deployed. Did you ever get deployed? Were you serving?
I didn't deploy, but even for like the ways that they teach you, it's kind of like they break you down physically and mentally.
It's a lot of endurance.
It is, but it pushes your body to the next area of like, hey, I can get my mind through this. Like I didn't even think I can run a mile. Like at that time, I was like, I can never do 10 push-ups. I can never do this. I can never do that. But they push you. And the reason for that is to make you, improve yourself over time. And after I beat my first obstacle of like, hey, I can run a 3 mile, I can run a 5 mile, I can, do 20 push-ups, I can think in high stress environments. I was like, now, like, what else can I do? Like, holy crap, I'm incredible. Like, it's just once you put your mind to it and train your mind for it, then it's like, you push your body. And after kind of like going through a lot of the, hey, I can't do this, I can't do that, and finally, like after pushing those barriers, it's like a relief. It's like, wow, like I can do this.
That's great. I think people like need to go through something like that in one way or another, because I feel like a lot of people don't push themselves anymore. And a lot of people are just kind of like, especially over this time with the pandemic and everyone's kind of like in this recession going on, like financial troubles, people are kind of depressed. And I think we all need to go outside and touch grass and just like push ourselves more, like academically, physically, all that. And I'm speaking to myself too, because like I need to go like run a mile or something. Like I need to do something too. But I wanted to ask you, because you didn't mention college at all. Was college like you didn't want to go? Like, what was the deal around that area?
I was never a good student. The reason for that is because I asked too many questions that were not on topic. I was kind of the guy that would ask, like I would follow, like basically if the teacher is saying something, I'm like, cool, I want to go back on this subject and talk about this. Like I want to learn more about this. They're like, well, no, next you'll learn about it later on yourself, or we're already past that. I'm like, no, but I really want to understand more about it. So like school was never for me. It's because I asked too many questions, and I guess it stems from like kind of like my family. It's always like growing up, they're always asking me, is like, if you don't know the answer, just ask. And the worst thing that they can say is no. And after that, cool, go to the next person, ask. And eventually you'll find that information.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Ask questions. Like I don't know. I'm always on Twitter Spaces. If I don't know something, I might as well just go up and ask them, right? And I hate teachers that were like that. Like, oh, I'm trying to understand this, but they won't go back and like answer your question, and then they're like, oh no, go do it on your own. Like that's so annoying. And I think that's like why school kind of like sucks in a way, because it's so structured, and like the teachers can't even focus on something or really like focus on you. It's more like, oh, we have a certain agenda. We have to get it done by this time at this date, take this test, like, memorize this, get this part done. It's just a lot. So I understand you 100%.
Not all teachers though. They're like, but like most teachers are like,
yeah,
hey,
like
look,
those
I just need to make sure I push them through, get them educated. But there's some teachers, like I remember like I had AP history like in high school.
Yeah.
And basically for her, she was like, hey, if you have questions, I have after class so that we can come and discuss. And I was there every single time. I was like, hey, I want to learn more about this portion. It's like, cool. And then she'll dive into the little rabbit hole with me, like, all right, this is what happened. This is there. She's there to take her time out and really help. So like for those ones that are taking their time and really, appreciate kind of like how education is helping mold a lot of young minds, like props to them. Like they should get paid as much as we can give them.
I agree 100%. Like I've had a few teachers like that too. Like I remember I couldn't understand math. Like math was really my worst subject and I was a year ahead in math in high school too. So like, freshmen were taking algebra, I was taking geometry already. And I was just so lost in high school, like absolutely lost my freshman year. And then I transferred out, went to another school my sophomore year. And that teacher, Miss Villani, shout out to Miss Villani, I couldn't understand anything. She sat with me for 6 months every morning at 7 a.m. School started at like 8:30 and just taught me every single day until I understood it. And those are the people we need. So for those teachers who don't take the time out, you are poop sometimes. You're not saying you're a poop person in general, but like just for that reason, like you need to focus on your children because we want to learn. We need your help. But shout out to those teachers who are willing to help. Absolutely. And so you moved on. I got out of that military training. What was the next move for you?
I came back to what we call like civilian life and didn't know what was kind of like the next thing to do. Same thing. I was like trying to find the next purpose, right? For me, it was all about finding the next purpose and finding out what I can do to improve and also at the same time improve others as well. So like I was working kind of like in restaurants and kind of like working around, doing basically just anything because like for me, it's like I wanted to keep my mind busy. So like I would apply for any single job that I can. And not because I'm like, hey, look, this one makes a lot of money. No, it's because like I want to learn some of these skills to just better improve myself. So there was a lot of odd jobs that I did. But after a while, I decided to say, hey, look, but I want to learn more about finance because this is when I was starting to kind of like, I should probably invest, right? People are telling me to invest. I should probably invest. But instead of just doing it blindly, I should learn a little bit before I go in and kind of like, place my whole house and stuff. So what I did was I reached out to one of my friends because once again, if you don't ask, you will never receive. So for me, it was like, I'm not going to be the smartest person on this subject. So might as well ask someone that's more educated than me. And that's when he was telling me about crypto and kind of like how stocks work and everything. And decided to go down the stock rabbit hole for a little bit, but I was like, maybe I should, I started seeing crypto again. I was like, maybe I should look into this. And that's when I decided to say, okay, cool. learning about basically just jumping down the white paper. Cause like for him, it was basically, hey, don't look into anything, just look into the white paper of Bitcoin first. And then from there, yes, once you learn more about it, once you learn how it functions, then you kind of like explore more. And now I tell that to everyone too that's trying to get into crypto is like, hey, learn the basic fundamentals of why this works. Like not just the money side of it, but the blockchain side. How is the tech there and how is it functioning? And then afterwards, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to apply for a marketing job because I wanted to learn more about marketing. I wanted to learn more about crypto as well. So I applied for like a marketing job, got an internship with my friend at Lunar Digital Assets. Shout out to them. And from there it was just, hey, look, I'm going to spend 8 hours every single day, working and learning, trying to find out more resources and testing as well, testing out different areas, seeing what's going on in the industry, and just kind of fell in love with it ever since.
Wow, that's amazing. And when you first heard of like Bitcoin, what was your first impression of it?
I can make money off of this. This is cool. This is a stock. How do I buy, like I can't afford one whole Bitcoin. How do I buy, like I can't save up for it. They're like, oh, you can buy a fraction of it. I'm like, what?
Exactly.
learning more about it. It's like, okay, I don't got to put all this money in. I can put a little bit at a time or, work, like seeing how exchanges work, just tinkering. It's similar to like the computer. I'm breaking it apart, seeing if I can put it back together to understand every single piece.
I love that. I really like the way you think. I think more people need to do that. Just like figure out the fundamentals, because absolutely a lot of people come into this space kind of like how you kind of came in like, oh, I could make money. It's like, let's get this. Let's drive our Lambos. And I think that also gets lost in like the idea of the revolution. So definitely everybody has to understand the blockchain and why this exists, not just the money. I think kind of like how the media spun Bitcoin and the speculation kind of just like changed Bitcoin's image a little bit, less about the revolution. And now people are like, oh, wow, like how much money can I make? Oh, wait, this is a bear market. Should I be selling? All this like BS. Like, guys, let's calm down. Okay. Understand.
It's a free market, like
yeah,
someone has to be selling, someone has to be buying.
That's true.
It's always like it's based off of human emotions. Like markets are all based off of emotion. So
exactly,
you get emotional when you get in. You're like, hey, can make money on this. But you get emotional when you come out because it's like, oh crap, did I lose money or did I make money or blah blah blah. But it's the emotional side of it.
Yeah, that's why we have to understand the fundamentals rather than the pumpamentals. And I think that's all we need to absorb. And now you've been in the space since you said 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So you've experienced a few bull markets, like a few all-time highs being made and huge drawdowns. How have you dealt with that? Especially entering in 2017, you saw a huge run up and a huge run down. How did you absorb that? Why did you stay in crypto at that point?
I wanted to learn why it went up and why it went down. So for me, it was looking at like basically this is kind of like the playbook of my experience. I placed money into Bitcoin. I bought it on Coinbase. And then afterwards it started shooting up. I was like, cool, I doubled my money, tripled my money. Then I was like, okay, like cashed out some, whatever portion. But then I was like, wait a minute, if I made money in this one, let's learn more about it so that I could either make more money later. And I ended up losing a crap ton of money. So basically saw Bitcoin go up to 20K. Everyone was like, this is not going to happen. Went through the whole FUD with Jamie Dimon and saying, hey, look, Bitcoin is a scam, blah, blah, blah. Warren Buffett came out. I was like, rat poison,
yes,
squared or whatever. And I was like, cool. Okay. Like, why are these guys saying this? So looking into like what their agenda is with it and everything. And then what I really stayed for was the community. It like in the beginning, it was more about the money portion. I was like, yeah, I want to make money off of it. But I found the deeper purpose that I was trying to find. The purpose of community was a lot bigger than it outweighed a lot of the money that you could make. In like, if you have a relationship with someone for, the past 5 years, it's kind of like does it quantify a kind of like a money perspective? No, because that relationship is actually more valuable than what money can provide. So that's what I found. I found community that was in crypto, and each one of us were, from different regions of the world. It's similar to like a game once again. And for me, it's like I wanted to learn more about the game and how it tinkers, how it works, how I can control it. But I don't get to the controlling part. Now I'm just more of like, hey, I want to learn more about it so that I can be a part of the ecosystem. It's the bigger purpose that I always look for every single time.
Yes, the bigger purpose. Guys, focus on the bigger purpose. It's absolutely important. And I'm happy you stuck around because now you're a part of a big conference, DCentral Con. How did you actually meet your co-founders? Because I know Justin is a co-founder and someone named Esther, who I'm not really
That's
familiar
true.
with. But how did you guys all meet? How did this all start for you guys?
So well, me and Justin technically kind of met in 2017. So Justin's been doing growth hacking and kind of like other conferences as well during that time. But I was working with Lunar Digital Assets, and he was one of the advisors for Lunar Digital Assets. So after a while, we indirectly kind of communicated, and we kind of like worked in parallel together. So I was working with Lunar Digital Assets on working with Polygon. So we would kind of help Polygon scaling. This is when they were called Matic Network back in the day.
Oh,
And
dang.
this is like before, the whole big expansion of them. But for us, it was kind of like, learning more of like how I can interact with the community, how I can make this better. And we had a lot of feedback and like pushback because once again, the market was during a bear market. But something that the founders kind of said is like especially Sandeep, was that it doesn't matter about the market. Don't speculate on the price. Just continue building. We're here to push the product.
Exactly.
He's like, we're here to push the product. So just continue focusing on that. So that's what we did. We kept on building, we kept on pushing. And eventually, when the bull market came out, everyone was like, we love Matic, this is something that
Yeah.
we needed. And we were like, where's all those haters now, huh? It took us so long to kind of like continue on building. But afterwards, I decided to start switching over and kind of like doing more projects. And that's when I kind of met Justin again. Me and him were starting on one of these projects, and after a while, we're like, hey, they're not listening to us. The purpose is a little bit different. The purpose is more of like greed, and we didn't like that portion.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, how do we? It's like, can we work together? Because like we had very similar ideas of like what we needed to do within the industry and what is needed. So this was fast forward to like COVID time, a little bit after COVID time, and we said, hey, look, the world right now needs more information because DeFi is popping off, NFTs are popping off. This is like a little bit before NFTs popped off, but we called it, what was it, the DeFi summer,
Yes.
where every DeFi protocol was popping off. It was kind of like everyone's gearing up for it. Everyone's at home, so they're learning about it. So what happened was that we're like, hey, look, let's find a way to get information out there because I want to learn about DeFi. And the reason to do that is ask the experts. I ask people. So instead of us having just like separate talks or anything, we decided to do a virtual conference. And this is like our first brand together called DeFi Summit. And
Nice.
me and Justin are like, we can't do this alone. So Justin was like, hey, look, I know a good friend, and Esther has been working with him for a while. And I was like, I trust Justin. I learned about Esther. So we decided to get together and say, hey, look, we're going to do this conference. And we didn't have any funding. This was all kind of like out of our own wills to create this conference. And we had, I think, 300 speakers.
Wow.
It was a whole week. It was literally a
That's
whole week.
insane.
Yeah.
Good for you.
We placed down every single subject that we wanted everyone to be informed of, whether it was DeFi dexes, whether it was going to be stable coins, different types of like compound. There's so many different areas, infrastructures, protocols, stable coins. And we wanted to really learn more about decentralized finance, like insurance, staking. So we just basically said, hey, look, we're not the smartest in the room. How do we make sure that we get all this information? We asked each one of them to kind of like be on it. I think at one point, one of my friends were like, hey, we're getting Mark Cuban on. And I was like, okay, cool. If this means that we're doing something that's right, that means like, if there's interest in the mainstream side, that means that we're doing something that's needed within the space. And
Yep.
we did. It was a really good event. We even have it on YouTube so that anyone can, rewatch all the information and everything. And we said, all right, after the first one, what's the next one? So we decided to do NFT Con. We're like, hey, NFTs are popping off. Not a lot of people know what's going on with it. Let's get the leaders together. And everyone's working on their own silos, right? Everyone's working independently. They're building their own companies, but we're like, let's get them all together, even if it's for a few days, to kind of be able to help everyone understand more and talk on some of these harder to understand subjects. And then after a while, this is kind of like how Decentral came into play. We said, COVID is kind of like taking off, and we were like, it's starting to phase down. And Miami said that they're going to be opening up. Florida was opening up. We reached out to a few partners over there and said, hey, do you think that do you know if there's anything happening during Art Basel for NFTs? And they're like, well, yeah, I think there's like small sections and things like that, but they're more focused on the bigger art world because there's more liquidity there. So I was like, okay, I'm going to show them what they're missing. So
Ooh, spicy, Michael.
yeah, we decided to do Decentral, and for that, I think we had 5,000 attendees. This is like just the opening of like the pandemic to kind of like states are starting to open back up. We had 5,000 attendees. We had
That's
around
amazing.
like 200 companies, 400 sponsors, like 5 stages.
Wow.
And after that success, we were like, we're onto something of like connecting everyone together so that it's basically this information should be free and accessible. So that's kind of like the journey so far. We did another one called DCentral Austin recently. And then
Yes, I saw
now
that.
we're doing Miami again.
That's awesome. So what are the dates for this upcoming event?
It's going to be November 28th and 29th. And then if you're going to the conference, I would recommend staying for the week just because like there's so many other side events and things that happen during Art Basel. So it's kind of like a week-long type of thing. Last year we had like 60 syndicated events, which meant that like they had our logo and we're trying to help them because they fit with our brand. So like throughout the whole week, there was like parties, workshops, hackathons, celebrities, like private parties for just crypto people as well.
Wow, that's insane. I love crypto events, like especially like, Art Basel is a good week to go down, like Bitcoin week where it's like Bitcoin 2023, I guess, in Miami. Like when that happens, like there's so many events that happen around that and just during that week that it's just like you're busy every single day. And I think, like you were saying before, community is so essential. So what do you think is the best thing about the Decentral community and why they're going to come back again for your third event? Not only did they go to Miami last year, but they went to Austin and now they're going to come back to Miami.
Yeah, for us, a little bit of like something that's fun with us is that we're very open to collaborations. So like we like I said, we don't have any investors, which means that we don't have anyone that's going to say you can or can't do this, or hey, look, this is not something that you can do. We are able to do whatever we want. So even for last year, for the sponsors, we told them, hey, look, just go wild, do it as long as you're not, causing destruction to the property or anything. You're doing this legally. You can just have fun. I think Secret Network had like a mariachi band that played outside last year.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. I love that.
There was a guy that one of the guys like painted a Ferrari. We had where it was like cosplayers at the event and everything. And then in Austin, we were like, let's kind of make it fun. Like even our shirts, like this is the shirt from Austin. It says JPEG rich, crypto poor.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so crypto-esque.
Yeah, we had it because like we wanted to kind of like make fun of everyone. It's like, hey, look, don't take it in a hard mood, but just remember to have fun. Conferences should be fun because this kind of comes back to education side, is that if you're going to a seminar compared to a festival in 2 years, which one would you remember? Most likely the festival, right?
Exactly.
Because it's more fun. So we want it to be where it's like you're coming to an event, you're having fun because it's easier to be loose, have fun, just be yourself. We don't want everyone to be uptight and be like, oh, I have a deadline that I have to meet and stuff. It's like, no, just come and have fun and be able to interact with others. And we even had a little Brahmin mountain. And they're like, why are you handing this out? And I was like, hey man, times are tough.
That's so funny. Yes, the ramen for everybody. Oh my gosh. I was talking to Tom Crown and I think he was like, I can't even afford the other flavors. They're too expensive. Oh my gosh. Ramen for the win. Guys, check out DCentralCon.com. I just put the link in the chat, and I'll also put the link to their Twitter because you guys are pretty active on Twitter, always announcing things. And I know you guys are going to be at the James L. Knight Center. That's a good venue, very big. I think that's a part of a hotel, right?
Yeah. So the James L. Knight Center. So that one fits around. I think it was like it was like 6,000 or so in terms of the full event. But
yeah.
we also booked the Hyatt that's associated with it. So we have all 4 floors in both centers, and they're both connected. So it's
sick.
Technically the capacity is like around 10,000 people. So
Ooh.
like it's a huge venue. Yeah. Our main stage is going to be, I believe, like 4,600 plus in seating. And we're going to have that live streamed with Binance and CoinMarketCap.
Whoa, dang, that's amazing. You guys have this hooked up. So what else do you guys have going on at Decentral this year? Like any like standout events, any cool after parties going on?
We're looking at a few after party locations right now, just to kind of like see which ones we want to finalize on.
Yeah.
But in terms of like kind of like cool things that we have there, so it's the for DCentral, we'll probably have around 5 to 6 stages. We're still looking if we want to have 6 stages as well. But each stage revolves around a topic. So it's not like, hey, every single one is going to be specific for like just a little category. So we'll have one that's called basically the main stage, where it's the main talks. We'll have the decentralized stage, the central stage, decentralized, sorry, which is DeFi, DAOs, more of like decentralization. And then we have the NFT stage, which is going to be, it's going to be a bundle, but it's like gaming, art, fashion, metaverse, music. We have some entertainment with some sports there. We have a workshop area so that people that are newer into crypto, wanting to learn how to onboard or
That's
just
needed.
getting into like, getting more information. We also have a Women in Web3 area so that women can be able to kind of get together, and we will showcase and highlight a lot of the ones that are building within crypto. We call it a startup stage. So we'll have some talks there where startups can learn about, hey, how do I talk to VCs? How do I find a co-founder? How do I, basically more for business. And then they kind of pitch to some of the VCs as well.
Oh, nice.
And then we have a lot of stuff, networking area too, so that others can, hopefully find co-founders or find others to kind of build a project on. We want to focus on the builders, not speculators, the builders.
Yeah, I think that's great how you have them like, cut into sections, because, you have something for people just coming in, and then you have like, okay, I'm knowledgeable enough. I don't need to go to the beginner stuff. Now let me go hear my favorite person speak on the main stage, or we'll learn about DeFi and gaming. I think gaming is probably going to play a big role in conferences soon. Like there's going to be like tournaments and everything like that, but we're still like you said, we have like a few years, maybe not even, where we're just advanced enough and like have like, those AAA zesty games that everyone wants to play. But yeah, I really think what you guys have going on is good. I like that you guys have 5 stages, maybe 6 is even cool too. What would the 6th stage be?
I think we're looking at like seeing if we could do a hackathon area.
That's
but
cool.
We haven't partnered with someone for that portion yet, so we might not. Most likely, we won't be doing it unless someone comes in for that portion. And that's kind of like where the 6th one will probably be. Is like we want to make it to where everyone has an opportunity to find their tribe within DCentral. Right? Yeah. Whether you're a beginner going to the workshops, whether you're advanced and you want to learn more about decentralization, or you just want to network around like-minded people. That's what we try. We're basically we're just the platform, and everyone else is the one that creates DCentral. It's kind of like everyone kind of gets together to build what it's going to be like for the vibe. Yes. We don't control it. It's just the community decides what's the brand going to be.
Yes, the community, and community again is everything. And I do see here that you could buy your tickets in USD in your fiat, or you could be zesty and buy in crypto. Why give people this option, and what can you pay with? What are your options there?
I think you can pay with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDC. But it's so we partnered with Yellowheart because we wanted to find a way we had a lot of feedback. They're like, hey, you're a blockchain conference and you're not allowing people to pay in crypto. So I was like, okay, we'll find a solution for this year, which is when we partnered with Yellowheart to do the NFT ticketing so that they can pay with crypto.
Sick.
And still be a part of the conference.
Cool. I like that. I think definitely paying with crypto adds a nice little twist to it. And NFT ticketing, are there NFT tickets?
Yeah. So like once you purchase it, you can, send it to your MetaMask and everything. And then for that portion, you basically have it to where, hey, look, I have a ticket that shows that I went to DCentral. And then for us, there are going to be cool things that we can and can't do with it. But like, well, we don't like to release out spoilers. It's because like for us, we don't believe announcing the announcements, announcing before the announcement.
Yeah, everyone's got the announcement before the announcement. It's such a meme now, so I respect that. I do think it's really cool what you guys are doing, and hopefully I could make it to a DCentral, because like everybody is speaking that I know, like a bunch of my friends. Who are you looking forward to seeing? Is there anybody or any panel that you're really looking forward to that you haven't seen yet? For us, so like the way that we kind of structure our panels too is kind of interesting. We make it to where like the topics that we really want to have. So like, I think there's one that we're trying to place together that's going to be with Akash and I believe Flux, which is more talking about like the decentralized Web3 cloud. I'm really interested in that one because like for us,
we're on the internet all the time. So like the next infrastructure is how do I make a decentralized web? How do I work on a
Yes.
decentralized cloud area?
Yes,
So
yes.
it's a little bit technical, but that's what I'm looking forward to the most. Being able to learn more from, the builders that are building that industry.
Yeah, I think that's essential as well. I always think about this, like, what's the next, like, internet looking like? Of course, we have, like, things like Ethereum where we're building dApps on top of that, and of course, other blockchains as well. But, when are we going to take that to the next level where we have a decentralized internet? What does a decentralized internet look like? What does a decentralized social media look like? Those are the questions I've been asking for a long time. And I think we have yet to see it. I think maybe that would be coming soon. I do think, like, NFTs, crypto works perfectly with social media, as we've seen. I mean, everybody's rocking a PFP as their, an NFT as their PFP. Absolutely sick.
Yeah, I think that we're starting to merge to that what I call Web 2.5, and some people call it 2. It's kind of
Yeah.
like you're merging Web 2 industries to the Web 3 industry, but each industry has its completely big differences. But we're trying to make it to where it's like consumers could kind of find a way to meet in the middle. So Twitter's doing it with like profile pictures to have a hexagon. We're starting to see a like Starbucks partnership with Matic, with Polygon.
Oh, yeah.
We're starting to see big brands starting to come in, Lamborghini, Prada, all the fashion guys. We see Nike with Clone X as well. Love that community, by the way. That community is hardcore.
Yeah.
Like true community right there.
Yeah, I think a bunch of these brands are coming in, and it's crazy the way they're doing it. It's so early. Like everything that we're seeing now, it's just like, wow, we are so early. I can't wait to see like what we're going to be talking about in, like, I would say 10 years, but maybe not even 5, where this whole
Crypto moves
space
so
is going to
fast.
be so different. Yeah, I say, like, every year is like 7 years in crypto. It's like we're all dogs. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Like 1 year in crypto is like 7 years. I feel like the past 2 months with what's gone on should have been like 6 months worth of stuff. Like,
Yeah, like the if you look at NFTs, technically I think it was like 2013 or 2012 was when the idea first came up. It was kind of like around colored coins. This was when like people were talking about it with Bitcoin. And then, it took us 6 years to kind of switch over and say, hey, look, we're placing this on Ethereum. And now it's like, like if you look at kind of like DeFi is still super young.
exactly.
Like this industry has been 2 years of like true innovation compared to like, if you look at like the financial system, it's hundreds of years of kind of like things. So imagine kind of like how the tech spans out. And just 2 years alone is like 2 years ago compared to now, it's like a whole plethora of like different applications, different narratives, different things that are building.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, 3 years ago there was no DCentral Con. Now, 3 years later, there's been 2 DCentral Cons, and there's going to be a third one in a month, which is so exciting. And it just shows, like, if you have an idea in Web3, we're so early that you could just come in and execute and just get it done. Like, you guys got it done, and I think that's very commendable. I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for everyone going to DCentral Con. If you guys know a certain friend or influencer, someone on Twitter that that's going, what I thought was really cool about what they're doing with their tickets is, let's say, Tom Crown, Crypto Wendio, you go to buy their tickets, then a portion of that ticket sale will go to their desired charity, which I think is pretty cool. If you want to speak about that, I just want to cover that before we head out.
Yeah. So like I asked a lot of my friends and said, hey, look, like, how do I make it to where it's impactful for you besides the money side of it, right? Because like, that's how we kind of like came into crypto too. It's like, first it was more about the money, and then afterwards it's about the purpose. So like for me now, my bigger purpose is like trying to get the silos of everyone together, right? Everyone's working in their own industry. I'm trying to get everyone together for an event. So like same thing with that portion is like, how do I make it to where you find a bigger purpose than just, hey, finding a way to just be at the conference. So for us, we decided to host a charity campaign, the charity program. So that basically for that portion, basically whenever you go through like affiliate links and everything, and you purchase a ticket through, you can choose it from any one of the participants on there as well, and it's all on the website. A portion of it goes directly to the charity. So for us, we're donating a minimum of 2,500 to their charities as well. So even if you don't click on the links, the charities will still make money, still like be able to receive money. And if let's say, hey, look, I don't want to go to the conference, but I want to donate for this cause, you can donate directly too. So, we wanted to just help enable that and say, hey, look, we want to help these charities that are actually doing good purposes. Like they're doing good, doing good deeds and helping others as well. So how can I find a way to help them? Is by making sure that I can at least donate to them.
You're a very sweet person, Michael. I'll tell you
It's
that. You're a very sweet, kind individual. And, you're really smart. And I really enjoy talking to you and actually really getting to know you today. Is there anything you would like to share about DCentral Con, about your life, about crypto, whatever is on your heart? Please share it with the audience and please let them know where they could find you and more information about Decentral.
Yeah, I would say like for the word of advice for everyone, you're always a student. Never stop asking questions. Even if you're an expert in an industry, there's someone that's always smarter than you. So just find a way to get that knowledge. If you feel like you want to learn more, just ask. And another thing that people tend to forget too is that, people that are around you, you want to help your community build and grow with you as well. It's not just all about you individually. It's about helping your community. And if they're showing you support, show them support as well. Help them out so that it's not just a all take or all give type of relationship, because that's a little toxic. Make it to where you give back and, help one another. So if you want to learn more about me, I guess my Twitter's there is the DGen boy. I'm a DGen at heart. And then the links for DCentral Con and everything. And if you guys are listening in, I want to give you guys, basically give you guys something. So my gift would probably be a 20% discount for the tickets. So you guys can be able to get discounted tickets on there. But also with this as well, in conjunction, you guys want to make it better, go onto the charity side. So go to DCentral Con, go to charity, click on any of those links, and then add in the 20% discount so that at least some of it goes to the charity as well. So the code is just going to be MTC. So just place that into the checkout and you'll get it discounted as well.
Cool. Guys, go to DCentral Con. If you're going to buy a ticket, enter code MTC. You'll get 20% off. It'll be extra zesty for you. Michael, thank you so much for joining me today and really just sharing stuff about yourself, which I'm sure the DCentral community is going to love and loves already because you're a cool dude. And telling us about the history of DCentral and how DCentral came to be what it is now. It looks like a really cool event. I hope everybody has fun there. I hope everybody has a great day. Guys, I will be back next Monday at noon for the weekly Zest, and I think I have a show on Monday too. I gotta check my calendar, but we'll be back next week, guys. Don't forget about the weekly Zest. It's a new show I'm doing Monday at 12. I want to make it consistent. I want to do it. I want to share the news with you. So guys, thank you again so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you for the people that's been hanging out with me for 3 days straight this week. I know it's crazy, but thank you so much. I appreciate you all. I hope everybody has a lovely day. Thank you again, Michael. Have a great one, friends. And don't forget to stay zesty. Peace.
Good morning, crypto Twitter, it's Misty Crypto, spreading crypto adoption, showing its benefits to my generation. Shout out to all my people, Jesse needs to be included, it's really that simple. We are savage, amazed, boss, SD, making money at the same time, spread